Alycats and new viewers. So today is part 1 of my February 2017 favorites. If you don't know what favorites are, that's where I list everything I loved in the entertainment industry, like books, music, TV shows, movies, yada yada yada. And I split this into 2 parts because I always have way too many favorites, and I'll have affiliate links for everything I mentioned down below in the description box. So let's get started. First up, for a book I really enjoyed, I really loved Throne of Lies by Sarah Sikora. This is a fantasy novel. It's about a princess named Amethysta who is trying to come to terms with the fact that she will eventually one day be ruler of her kingdom. And she also has to deal with romantic issues. She has to deal with being, you know, the princess. She has to deal with feeling confined, and she's also got something else going on that no one but her and her mother know about. I thought it was a really good debut novel, and I'm so excited to read the rest of the trilogy. And plus, this book is just so beautiful. Like, look at it. That's so beautiful. This is incredible, and I commend Sarah for writing such an amazing novel. I could not put this book down, guys. I kept reading it until I finished, and I should have a review up on my blog by the time this video goes up, so I'll have that linked in the description box down below. But I really enjoyed this novel. The first movie is the only one I own, and that's The Light Between Oceans. This is directed by Derek Cianfrance and stars Michael Fassbender, Alicia Vikander, and Rachel Weisz. And this is based on the novel by M.L. Stedman, which I adored, so I figured I would love this film, and I was correct. But this is the story of Tom and Isabel Sherborne, and they run a lighthouse on Janus Rock in Australia. And for a long time, they're trying to become pregnant, but Isabel keeps miscarrying. But one day, a boat washes up on shore with a dead man and a live baby, so they decide to keep the baby for themselves. And this film details the relationship and how they're taking the baby affects their lives as well as the lives of other people and the consequences. And I just thought it was a really good historical romance film, because that's what it is. It's a historical romance with drama elements sprinkled in it. But I loved it. If you've read the book, you'll love the movie. It's very faithful to the source material. And it's a really good film in my opinion. Just know it is a romance, it is historical, but I loved it. Now moving on to the rest of the films that I don't own, the first one I want to mention is Pearl, which is a short film that you can actually watch on YouTube right now. It is a 360-degree video, so it's really cool. Watch it on mobile if you can. But it's the story of a girl and her father who are both musicians, and details their journeys through going on the road and playing and busking and how this affects them and their relationship. It's very heartwarming. It was nominated for an Oscar. Definitely watch it, especially again on mobile, because it's really cool to be able to tilt your phone and see all the different aspects of the short film. Next up is a super amazing zombie film called Train to Busan. Train to Busan is awesome, and I did not expect a zombie film to make me feel emotional and almost cry, but Train to Busan did. And this is centered on a father who is taking his daughter via train to see her mother in Busan. But what they don't realize is there's this virus that has gone around, and a passenger comes on board the train, and all hell breaks loose because this virus turns people into really fast zombies. Think like 28 Days Later zombies. And as soon as someone's bitten, they pretty much turn into one of these zombies. And it's just their journey and the fellow passengers' journey about trying to survive, trying to get to safety, and ultimately to their destination, Busan. And it's a fantastic film. Watch it. If you are a lover of zombie films, you have to see Train to Busan. Next up is Broadway Danny Rose. I'm continuing on with my Woody Allen marathon, and I really did enjoy Broadway Danny Rose. This is entirely shot in black and white and stars Woody Allen and Mia Farrow before all the scandalous stuff happened, and it's about a talent manager named Danny Rose and his exploits and how he meets this actress played by Mia Farrow. It's a phenomenal film. It's told through the perspective of 3 people who knew Danny Rose, and they're recounting their experiences with him. And I think Woody Allen is a very visionary director. He does have a lot of scandalous issues in his past that a lot of people cannot stomach, but I can separate the art from the artist, and I think he has a lot of talent. Woody Allen is a very talented director. He can capture so many nuances and so many different emotions. and he uses so many different techniques in his films, and I just love that about his filmmaking. The next film up is my favorite so far of the past couple of weeks, and that is La La Land, of course. This is directed by Damien Chazelle and stars Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling, and it's about an aspiring actress named Mia who meets an aspiring jazz pianist named Sebastian, and this chronicles their relationship and how they're both struggling to make it in a dog-eat-dog world. And it's also a love letter to Los Angeles, how there's one side of Los Angeles that's very nurturing and amazing and beautiful to dreamers, but it's also a very cutthroat business, a very harsh business, full of rejection. And it shows how these characters deal with self-doubt and they deal with hope, and it's just such a beautiful, beautiful film. And it's a very subtle musical, and by that I mean it's very organic. There's only a couple of numbers where people just randomly burst into song and dance. Most of the musical numbers feel like they just fit right into the everyday lives of the characters. Like, they'll just start playing the piano and they'll sing along. It's very organic. The performances are beautiful. Emma Stone in particular is phenomenal. I feel like she'll get the Oscar this year for Best Actress. But Ryan Gosling, man, can he sing and dance, and that's something I didn't realize he could do. Phenomenal film. It's beautiful. I highly recommend you see it. Even if you're not typically a fan of musicals, I think this will appeal to you, especially if you're a creative person who has high aspirations and you're a dreamer. And it's just a really, really relatable film, especially for me. Like, I was crying by the end of this film just because I related to the character so much. The next film up is Mulholland Drive, and what an amazing film. I was constantly going, what the fuck am I watching? But it's so good. I'm definitely going to have to watch it for a second or third or fourth time. It is confusing. It's got an amazing performance by Naomi Watts. It's again set in Los Angeles, and it's just a great film. It's got that David Lynch feel. You know, when you watch a David Lynch thing, even if you don't know it's about David Lynch, you're kind of like, this seems like David Lynch. It's very surrealistic. It's kind of dreamlike. It's definitely what the fuck. It's definitely a David Lynch film, but it's a masterpiece, and I can't wait to watch it again. Even though it is a lengthy film, it is something that does warrant repeat viewings, just so you can kind of pick up on things you missed beforehand. And I don't know why it took me so long to see this film, but it's so, so good. Next up is Maggie's Plan. This stars Greta Gerwig as a woman who wants to become pregnant. So she plans to be artificially inseminated, but then she meets this really handsome guy played by Ethan Hawke and falls in love with him. But there's a problem. He's already married to a character played by Julianne Moore and has children with her, but he decides to leave Julianne Moore's character for Maggie. And he and Maggie have a child, but a couple years later, Maggie realizes she is tired of being married to this guy, so she concocts a plan to get him back with his ex-wife. This is a genuinely funny film at points. It's not like laugh out loud hilarious, but there are definitely funny moments. I relate to the characters, and this is one of the best performances by Greta Gerwig I've seen so far. And I do recommend watching it if you like quirky indie films. Next up is Barton Fink. This was directed by Joel Cohen and stars John Turturro and John Goodman. And it's about Barton Fink, who moves to Los Angeles to become a screenwriter. And it chronicles what happens to him. And there's so many weird things that happen to him. And you're constantly going, is this real? It's just such a good film. And I highly recommend you see it. John Goodman in particular is fantastic in this film. I feel like John Goodman's just good in every film he's in, but just watch it. Just watch Barton Fink. It's good. Next up was a film I expected to be terrible, but I actually found it really enjoyable, but that is Chopping Mall. This is a B movie, but it's so good. It was filmed in the 80s, and it's about a group of teenagers, a group of horny teenagers, let's get that out of the way, who end up being locked in a mall. Big deal, right? Well, there are 3 robots who have recently been instituted into this mall because they are the new security guards at this mall. There's a freak electrical storm, and when this electrical storm hits, the security guards turn into killer robots, so the teens have to survive their night locked in the mall. It's good, cheesy fun. It's way better than I thought it was going to be, and I just recommend it. If you're into B movies, if you want to see some schlocky good humor, you know, good kills, definitely check out Chopping Mall. And the last film I enjoyed over the past couple of weeks has been The Accountant. This has gotten a lot of mixed reviews, but I really enjoyed it. It stars Ben Affleck as a man who is an accountant, but he is also a hitman, and it's really interesting. There's great performances by him, as well as John Bernthal, J.K. Simmons, and Anna Kendrick. I really enjoyed it. I liked the action. I did think it was a little too long for its own good, and I really liked the aspect that Ben Affleck's character has autism and how this affects his career and his life, and how it made him the man he is in the film. Now moving on to TV, first up is Riverdale. I was surprised that I liked this as much as I do. Riverdale is the CW's very dark take on the Archie comics, and it's basically Gossip Girl meets Twin Peaks, and it's so good. It centers on Archie, who's played by KJ Apa, and of course his exploits with Betty and Veronica, played by Lily Reinhart and Camila Mendez. But it also focuses on a murder that has happened in Riverdale. And the TV series is narrated by Jughead, played by Dylan Sprouse, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying that murder mystery aspect, but I'm also enjoying how Betty and Veronica are both into Archie, but Archie happens to be involved with his music teacher. I love it. I love Twin Peaks. I love Gossip Girl, so that mishmash is just making me fall in love with Riverdale so much. Plus, I love Madchen Amick as the mother, and if you don't know who Madchen Amick is, she plays Shelly in Twin Peaks, so I love it. Next up is The 100. This show is probably the CW's darkest, most violent show on their roster, and I love it. It's so strong this season. This is the 4th season, and I'm really invested. I've been invested since day 1 of this show. I love the dystopian universe, and each episode seems to get darker and more violent, and I just love it. And if you haven't seen The 100 yet, please catch up on Netflix, watch it. It's amazing. It's not just some teen show. It's a very, very good action dystopian thriller show. And lastly, I just saw the first episode of this, but I really dug it, and that's Legion. This is, of course, FX and Marvel's first show that they have put out, but it stars Dan Stevens as David Haller, and David Haller is in a mental institution. He is believed to be schizophrenic, but it turns out he's also a mutant. This is set in the X-Men universe, and if you didn't know, David Haller in the comic universe is Professor Xavier's son, and I really enjoyed Dan Stevens' take on the character. I'm really liking the side characters, and I think it's such an intriguing concept for a show, and I'm excited to see where it goes. For gaming, I really loved Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. I did a review for this, so I'll link that on the screen and down below. But I loved this game. It lived up to the hype, and I highly recommend it if you're looking for a good survival horror game. For YouTube, I've really enjoyed watching Alicia Malone's channel. I love her Filmstruck Friday videos because it gives me inspiration for movies to watch. And I recently really enjoyed her Sundance coverage because I am all about film, as you know. So seeing all these upcoming films and seeing her interview directors of these films, it was just so fascinating. So if you're into film at all, if you're interested in how films are made, if you're interested in learning about new films that you maybe haven't heard about, definitely check out Alicia Malone's channel. I've also really been into Maud Garrett's Geek Bomb. I love her Powered series, which is Playing, Watching, Reading, Doing, where she interviews different people in the geek industry and they tell her what they're playing, watching, reading, and doing. And she's just got such a bubbly, vivacious personality, and I just love her videos. And the last channel I've been really enjoying is Lucy Moon. I just adore how open she is with her audience. She talks openly about, you know, having issues with alcohol, with her experience with university, different topics like that, and I love watching even her Get Ready With Me videos. She has a very simplistic style, and I really gravitate toward that. It's a very refreshing change of pace for me to see someone who's so open, and their videos are so clean and simple aesthetically. And also, because on my Patreon, if you donate at least $1 a month, I give you a shout out in my favorites video. I have to give a shout out to my wifey for lifey, Jennifer. Thank you so much for donating. You didn't have to, but thank you. If you'd like to donate to Patreon, I know, boo his Patreon, it's in the description box down below. But thank you, Jennifer. You didn't have to donate, but thank you. I love you so much. For all the music I enjoyed this month, those songs are listed in the description box down below. Give them a listen, let me know what you think. If you like this video, please leave a like, share it if you liked it because it helps my channel grow. And And also let me know in the comment box down below what your favorites have been so far this month. And if you'd like to follow me on social media sites, those are all listed in the description box. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already and you like what you've seen and heard, you'll see my face floating over here. Click my face and I'll sub you to my channel. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you're always my favorite. Peace and kisses. Bye.